Well, to be honest with you, the announcement of the Predator Annihilator from JoyToy completely caught me with my pants down and obviously took me by surprise. But I am elated that they are actually coming out with literally my favorite tank. Just to give you a little bit of my teenage background, I got the Blood Angels 2nd edition box as my first purchase. And then secondly, I moved on to the Dreadnought. And then thirdly, I got the Predator Annihilator. So I am again ecstatic because this is hitting all my nostalgia in the right ways. I thought that since JoyToy was so focused on making things for the Primaires that we would possibly get a Gladiator, but never in my wildest dreams would we get a Predator. Alright, the purpose of the video is to first talk about the size of this action figure, and then secondly, the construction of the action figure, thirdly, the price, fourthly, probably most importantly, is the future implications of this release. Okay, talking about size, it is a very, very big boy. The overall height is around 26 centimeters, which is roughly around 10 inches, and that literally is this long. And then the overall length is 42 centimeters roughly, which translates to around 16 and a half inches, which is this long. Width-wise, around track to track, it's around 25 centimeters, which is roughly around 9.9 inches. So from the promo pics, it appears that you can put the driver in the front area over here, which is a nice thing because if you actually build one of these miniatures, you will know that this front area is completely blank and you can't really open it. So it's really nice that JoyToy fleshed that area out. And the front also appears that you will be able to fit one more Space Marine, specifically in roughly this position right here. Then with regard to the back area, that's where the troop transport occurs, but technically Predators are not transport vehicles, but who the hell cares? So from what I can tell, you can put one Space Marine here on one side of the bench and then another one on the opposite end of the bench. This is just me guessing here, but I think that you should be able to fit 2 more Space Marines in the back. So you can get a total of 2 in the front, 4 in the back, which makes a total of 6 Space Marines. Obviously, this is complete speculation, so we will not know exactly how many Space Marines can fit into the vehicle until later this year, and you will be damn sure I will be doing a review on it. If you're wondering about fitting a version 3 versus a version 4 Space Marine, I don't think you really need to worry because remember that for all versions of these JoyToy action figures, from the torso all the way up to the helmet, it is exactly the same height at 2.5 inches. So you don't really need to worry about clearance with regards to whether a V3 or a V4 is going to fit in the back of this Predator. Now let's move on to construction. I am really curious about how all these different parts fit onto the tank. Obviously, I have to do some speculation here because I don't really have anything to go off of except the promo pictures that all of us have seen. But it would appear that this front area is attached by a hinge that you can flip out, and I would also assume that this back hatch area is attached the same way by these 2 hinges that protrude into the chassis. So from what I can see from the pictures, it looks like the top panels just slot into the chassis of the Predator, but it really would be nice if they were magnetic. So using my trusty Rhino over here, what I mean by slotting is literally taking this piece and then fitting it over, and that's what I mean by slotting. And obviously it is loose, so I wonder if JoyToy, like I said, is going to secure this area somehow. The same can be said of these 2 hatches that are on the side of the Predator. This is where the sponsons would be located at. I kind of wonder how those actually attach, whether, like I said, these things slot in right here, or it is somehow held together by some magnet. Then I would assume that the sponsons have a hole in them where you could slot the peg into the hole. Now the third thing I want to talk about is price. So this piece of machinery roughly costs around $200 to get from the factory to your home, which to be honest, I found really surprising that on the interwebs, I did not hear anybody really complain about the price. There was definitely some sticker shock with the reveal of the Knight as well as the price of Angron, but there's really no anger over this one, which I think is a good thing. I'll be honest with you, I think the price of the tank is quite fair for what you get. Aside from the Knight as well as the baby carrier, it would be considered the third most expensive vehicle that JoyToy has ever produced. Now let's talk about future implications. Well, the Predator is based off of a troop transport called the Rhino, so it may be fair to assume that we may get various iterations of the Rhino, starting off with the Rhino itself. So the only real difference from the Predator to the Rhino is that all you have to do is remove the turret right here, and then remove this particular hatch, and then replace this area with a complete blank hatch, as well as this area that does not have sponsons on it, and voila, you have a Rhino. Other Rhino variants include the Razorback, the Predator Destructor, the Vindicator, the Whirlwind, Hunter, as well as Stalker. I think that the Predator Destructor would be another viable candidate that JoyToy could possibly produce, because all you need to do is switch out the twin link las cannons with the autocannon, and then swap out the side las cannon sponsons with 2 heavy bolters. Another highly likely Rhino variant is this Razorback over here, and like I said, all you need to do is replace the turret as well as the top panel, and then you have a Razorback. I think that this Whirlwind as well as the Vindicator are remote possibilities because not a lot of people play with them anymore. And then as the Stalker and the Hunter are not even offered by GW these days, I would say that there is absolutely no chance of getting those variants. Now, how could I forget to mention my very special faction exclusive Ball Predator? The Mad Tech Marines of the Blood Angels have modified the chassis so that you can replace the twin link las cannons with either twin linked assault cannons or a flamestorm cannon, and then the side sponsons can be swapped out with heavy flamers. So I don't think it would be that much of a stretch for JoyToy to produce this faction variant Predator. Now let's talk about the Sisters of Battle. They actually have 2 different variants that are based off of the Rhino chassis, which is the Annihilator as well as the Exorcist. I'm not really sure that JoyToy is going to end up producing these variants because there's really a lot that goes into them. For example, with the Annihilator, you have these ornate turrets with heavy flamers on each side, along with a ton of other gothic looking bits. The Exorcist has a ton of stuff that is also going up top with these missile tubes that mimic these pipe organs. So these are the reasons why, despite these variants being based off the Rhino, that I don't think that we're really going to see them, because while the Sisters of Battle are quite popular, but they're not going to be as popular as the Space Marines. But to be honest, I would really love to be wrong in this aspect, because I would love to see JoyToy produce as many vehicles as they possibly can. So in closing, if you are interested in procuring yourself the Predator Annihilator, there's only one place to get it at, which is, like I said, David Toys. They are fantastic, and they will do whatever it takes to get these action figures to you as quickly as possible, and with free as well as tariffless shipping. And before you check out on your pre-order, do not forget to use the code SNS to receive 12% off of your purchase. And so to close out, members of the chapter, thank you so much for watching this video. I am again very, very excited to see the Predator Annihilator get imagined into a very large format. Let me know in the comments section what you thought about the size as well as the price. And I really would like to know what your speculations about how this action figure is constructed. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next one.